What's going on, guys? Welcome to Forged from Iron. Glad you could join us today. So, I hear you got some big goals in the gym you want to fulfill. Well, you've come to the right place, and if you're just starting off, it's even better because by the end of a couple videos into this channel, I hope I will have equipped you with the necessary information that you need to go and crush those goals, completely changing your physique. And so, let us begin the fitness journey. All I ask is that you truly dedicate yourself and give it your all, because if you don't, then you're not going to see results. I'm going to be straight up with you right now. You're going to need to work your ass off in order to achieve what is it that you want. To start off with, I'm going to ask that you have faith in me as well as faith in yourself, as together we're going to completely change who you are, both physically and mentally. First, let's address one of the biggest things that's going to affect your gains and the progress you make. To put it blatantly and straight up, it's going to be your diet. There's no way, no matter how hard you work, you're going to be able to out-train a bad diet. So therefore, before we start any work in the gym, I'm going to have to ask you to clean up your nutrition a bit, because without doing so, it's going to be nearly impossible in order to get where you want to be. Specifically, the most important thing when it comes to changing your body composition, building more muscle, losing fat, whatever it is, it all depends on your calories in versus your calories out. So how much food you're consuming in a day versus your energy expenditure. This is ultimately what determines your overall physique and the results you achieve. Ever heard of the saying, you are what you eat? Well, that's pretty true, actually. Your physique is going to be determined by the quality of food that you eat as well as the quantity. Now, I say quality is so important when it comes to diet because your body doesn't actually recognize the difference between, let's say, like 100 calories of vegetables versus 100 calories of chips or like junk food. Because of this, it's important to first of all, determine your goals when it comes to approaching a diet, and you really have one of two options. Well, you have one of three, but I assume because you're here that there's only two options that you want to pursue, and that is to either bulk or cut. By bulk up, I mean you want to put on muscle, you want to gain a bit of weight, maybe you're a skinny dude or whatever, or you have the option to cut. Maybe you're slightly overweight, or more than slightly overweight, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Now, after you've done that, you have to eat accordingly. And I can make a separate video if need be. I probably will end up doing it because it's good information to have. But essentially, it just revolves around eating a certain amount of calories, either higher or lower than your maintenance, which would be the third option. Now, maintenance is exactly what it sounds like. It's where you are able to maintain your current level of fitness by consuming the same amount of calories that you expend throughout the day, which means that overall there should be a net of around 0 lost or gained calories, which means you won't either put on weight or lose any. Now, if you're trying to bulk up, then it would be in your best interest to add more calories, because you're going to have the extra room with your excess amount of calories to get in more food for maximizing your weight gain phase. On the other hand, if you're trying to lose weight, you would eat in a caloric deficit, meaning that you burn more calories throughout the day than what you eat. So therefore, in that scenario, you would end up having to eventually burn off fat in order to make up that energy that your body is lacking, therefore losing weight over time. Calculating maintenance is a little bit of a difficult task, but essentially the best way to go about it is to use online calculators of the sort and then test it out for about a week or so, see where you're at, how your body reacts, because everybody is different. And then you can tweak it in order to find where it is personalized to you. Now, going even further in depth about your calories and your diet, there are what is called macronutrients. Now, these are your fats, protein, and carbohydrate intakes. Basically, these are the components of all of the food you will eat. And when I said before that your body doesn't recognize the difference in the quality of calories that you consume, I'm really talking about the difference in macronutrients at the end of the day. Because let's say you eat 100 calories worth of ground turkey, well, there you will be consuming mostly protein and fats, versus if you were to eat 100 calories in a donut, you're consuming carbs in the form of sugar rather than things like protein. Thus, it's going to be a safe bet if you focus your diet at first, and always actually, around eating enough protein in order to support your work in the gym, because the protein is going to be key in providing your muscles recovery so that they can be built back stronger and bigger than before. So if you don't eat enough protein, there can be complications limiting your results that you're getting in the gym. Moving on from diet, and as I said before, I will go more in depth about it sometimes, but just know for now that starting out, to clean up your diet a little bit, maybe even consider starting to track what you eat using either like a food scale or just measuring your portions. If that's too much, and to be honest, whenever you start out, it's pretty daunting and intimidating, or you're just lazy to do all of that. And so it is just a safe bet to eat cleaner foods to start off with, and then from there go more into precisely tracking what you're intaking. What I mean by clean foods is you don't have to completely kill your What I mean by clean foods is you don't have to completely, be depressed with your diet and have to eat like straight dirt or what have you. All I mean is that pick foods that you would think are healthy, right? And that's sort of a good baseline to go off of at first. Obviously, don't be having fries or fast food all the time, because obviously it's poor nutrition choices. The best bet is actually to find foods that you enjoy. So for example, something like oatmeal is really good for carbs, and it can be made very enjoyably. So it might be an option for you. Like I said, this part really depends on your personal preferences, and as long as you can choose things that you can enjoy and sustainably eat in the long run, that's what's going to really affect the results that you see in the gym. Secondly, I want to touch up on dropping your ego. Now, this is a saying you should always have in the back of your mind whenever you're hitting the gym, and the reason for that is because the biggest factor in maximizing the time you spend working in the gym is by dropping your ego. Now, what do I mean by that? There's a term known as ego lifting, which almost everybody is guilty of as soon as they start working out, because you want to show off or fulfill your own ego, not necessarily even to other people, but to yourself, because you have this idea of what the gym is like. No. You have to be humble at first, and that means not thrashing around whatever you can just pick up and put down by brute force. You're going to want to control the weight that you're using, because it's going to be much beneficial in the long term of building muscle and getting gains than just throwing that heavier weight around without control. Now, what do I mean by control? You're going to have to focus on really feeling the contractions of your muscles when you perform the exercise. So, for example, if you're doing a bench press, you want to focus on feeling that weight move using your chest and your shoulders and triceps, rather than just focus on getting the bar up and that is all. When you focus in on performing that movement and you control it, you're going to create the most muscle tears, likely by slowing down the overall time that it takes, therefore increasing your time under tension, which is how long you spend in the movement of the exercise. You create more muscle tears this way, and also end up building a stronger mind-muscle connection, which is where you can sort of activate that muscle using your mind. And it's this feeling that you get where your intuition is sort of connected to your muscle activation. All of this ties into the form in which you perform the movement. This is basically just your technique. It is literally more important than almost anything else in the gym, more than the weight that you're lifting, more than the exercise that you're performing. As long as you got the form down, you're going to make progress. I promise you that. Now think about it like this. If you get strong in exercise, but you have garbage form, like as in you do a half rep or something, like let's say you're doing a bicep curl and you don't go all the way down, well, if you get stronger that way, you're only ever going to be stronger in the range of motion that you worked in. So because of that, I highly suggest against cutting the range of motion short. If you have to, drop the weight, focus on the contraction, dropping your ego while you're at it, and over time you're going to be able to make more progress than you would have ego lifting. Additionally, if you do something like this, it becomes much more easier to get injured, which is the exact opposite of what you want. One of the most common causes for this in the gym is due to improper form, because no movement is actually super unsafe. Well, most movements aren't super unsafe if you perform them correctly. It is when you don't do them correctly, as well as overload too much weight that you can't handle, when injury becomes more likely to happen. And this is why lifting effectively comes down to being able to progressively overload in a safe manner rather than just being able to move around the heaviest thing. If this is difficult for you, I'm gonna have to be a bit real here. No one actually cares how much you lift in the gym. Therefore, it's gonna be more important to not do it for the purpose of impressing other people, rather do it for yourself to improve. Lastly, I want to talk about commitment. Now, I'm touching upon all of this before we start the actual series of videos teaching you how to go about your training, because without these things, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to get the results you want to obtain in the gym. If you can integrate these 100% into your fitness lifestyle and routine, that is what's really going to propel you in your fitness journey. I talk about commitment because I see it all the time. A lot of beginners, especially when they start going and exercising, they expect the results to come fairly quickly. It's going to be about long-term progress over short-term gratification. Now, what do I mean by that? Nothing will happen quickly. Everything in terms of physique is dedication and commitment over time to a routine. What it really comes down to is a lifestyle change. And with that lifestyle change, the ultimate goal is you want to become healthier, not just be able to build this body that you want for a temporary amount of time. The ultimate goal is you want to be able to change it for forever, because that would mean that you have developed a routine that works for you, that is sustainable, that you can keep on doing. And what we're really trying to do here is create and start that long-term journey in fitness. Now, the only way to do this is to fully commit yourself. You have to be serious about actually doing this. This has to be something that you want. You have to have sort of a passion that pushes you forward, a drive, if you will. After you figured that out and you have a set purpose on, I'm here to do this, the results are going to come much easier, and you will find it effortless to get yourself into the gym rather than laying on the couch and it feeling like a chore, like a hassle to go. If you're up for this, for getting jacked or getting the body of your dreams or whatever it is, just getting healthier, being able to run a marathon, whatever your goals are, it all boils down to time. I'm here to help you incorporate this element of fitness into your life so that you can not only obtain your goals, but ensure the longevity of them after you get there. And even set new ones, higher expectations, so you can keep on working at it for hopefully what is the rest of your life, or the foreseeable future to come. If you guys appreciated this video, make sure you drop a thumbs up, leave a comment telling me what you would like to see next. Now, I hope you take all of the information in this video, go like sign up at the gym or something, or if you're just doing drop-ins, what have you, make sure you have a plan. We're gonna start diving into what goes on actually in the gym. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you around in the next one. Peace.